You know the job isn't working. You know the relationship has run its course. You know that subscription hasn't been used in months and the money just quietly leaves your account anyway. You know all of this, clearly, logically, and yet you don't move. But the real reason you don't move has nothing to do with laziness. It's far stranger than that. Somewhere inside your skull, a very old system is running a very old rule. And that rule says, whatever you already have is safer than whatever you might get. This is called the status quo bias, and it is quietly steering almost every decision you make. In 1988, two economists ran an experiment that exposed this rule in its rawest form. Their names were William Samuelson and Richard Zeckhauser, and their question was simple. If you give people identical choices, but tell one group they already own one of the options, will that ownership change anything? It changed everything. People who were told an option was already theirs chose to keep it at rates 25 to 40% higher than people choosing the exact same options from scratch. Same information, same numbers on the page, same stakes. The only difference was one word: mine. And that word alone was enough to bend the decision. Why would simply owning something make it feel safer, even when nothing about the actual risk has changed? The answer starts long before economics existed, long before money existed. It starts on open ground, under an unfamiliar sky, with your ancestors deciding whether to walk a new path home. For most of human history, change carried real teeth. A new route might cross a predator's territory. An unfamiliar plant might be poison. The old path, the one you'd walked 100 times, had already proven it wouldn't kill you. So a brain that clung to the familiar and treated the new as a threat was a brain that lived longer. That bias got passed down. Yours is a direct descendant of it. The trouble is, that ancient alarm never got the update. It still fires today, except now it's aimed at your savings account instead of a lion. Psychologists have traced this resistance down to a few specific mechanisms, and the most powerful one has a name: loss aversion. Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, two researchers whose work eventually reshaped how economics understands the human mind, found something remarkable. Losses don't just feel bad. They feel roughly twice as bad as an equivalent gain feels good. Losing $20 stings about twice as hard as finding $20 feels nice. That's not rational. It's not supposed to be. It's just how the machine is built. Now apply that imbalance to change itself. The moment you consider leaving, switching, or letting go, your brain starts adding up everything that could go wrong. What if the new job is worse? What if you're less happy after? Those imagined losses grow huge in your mind, while the potential gains, muted by comparison, barely register. So you stay. Not because staying is good, because the math inside your head was never fair to begin with. There's a second layer underneath this, and it's sneakier still. It's about regret, and specifically, about where regret comes from. Imagine two people who both lose the exact same amount of money. One person lost it because they made a change, a decision, a move. The other lost it by doing nothing at all, by simply staying where they already were. Ask people which loss feels worse, and the answer is consistent. The one caused by action hurts more, even though the outcome is identical. Kahneman and Tversky again traced this pattern, this quiet asymmetry between the pain of doing and the pain of not doing. Your brain, without you ever choosing this rule, decided long ago that inaction is safer to live with than action, even when the results are exactly the same. So to avoid that sharper, more personal kind of regret, you simply don't act. You let the default carry the blame instead of you. This shows up everywhere you'd never expect it to. Employees leave retirement contributions on the default setting for years, even when better options are sitting right there, because economist Richard Thaler's research on retirement behavior found the same quiet pattern again and again. People don't reject the better option. They simply never touch the one they were handed. Here's the twist that makes all of this land differently. This bias isn't a character flaw. It isn't proof that you're weak, indecisive, or afraid. It's a brain doing exactly the job it was built to do, using rules written for a world that no longer exists. The system worked. It just never learned that the danger changed shape. There's one more cost hiding underneath all of this, and it might be the most underestimated one. It's called the transition cost, and it's less about fear and more about exaggeration.